Lewis Hamilton walked away from the Bahrain Grand Prix with a grin of discovery, calling his middle stint aligned with his SF25, a promising sign that the seven-time champ is starting to vibe with his new red ride. Does this mean that we can finally start placing bets on Ferrari? Let's hear from the man himself in today's video. Still settling into life post-Mercedes, Lewis Hamilton's learning curve with the prancing horse has been steep, and Bahrain qualifying gave fans a flashback to some of his more self-critical moments from last season. After trailing teammate Charles Leclerc by 6/10, Hamilton said, "I'm not doing a good enough job." Not exactly the confidence-boosting start you'd expect from F1 royalty, but his race day reflections hinted that the magic might be on its way. Come race day, Hamilton turned things around in true champion style. Starting P9 and clawing his way up to P5, he didn't just gain positions, he had a eureka moment mid-race. During his second stint on the mediums, something just clicked, and he's now eyeing a much brighter future in red. Ferrari pulled off a slick double-stack pit stop, sending both Leclerc and Hamilton back out on fresh rubber for a high-speed middle stint that lit up the timing sheets. For Hamilton, it wasn't just about pace, it was a breakthrough. Speaking to the media afterward, he sounded like a man who'd finally cracked a code. And if that stint was any indication, we might be witnessing the early sparks of a Scuderia symphony. Looking back on his race, he said, "Yeah, much more positive. The middle stint, I felt really aligned with the car. My driving style seemed to be working in that moment, and so learned a lot today, and this weekend actually. A lot. Probably more than all the other weekends. The key is to try and get back to it every weekend. It's clear our car really does require a different driving style, and I think I'm slowly adjusting to that. And also setup. I've been a bit all over the place, a long way from Charles the past 2 weekends, and then slowly migrated towards him. So I think, if I start the weekend with a more convenient spot and apply the techniques that I learnt this weekend, hopefully we'll be in a good place." Hamilton admitted that Ferrari's machinery just feels so alien after years of perfecting his craft with McLaren and Mercedes. The seven-time world champion opened up about this eye-opening transition when chatting with Sky F1, revealing just how different the Red Beast feels compared to his previous rides. It's like switching from a finely tuned sports car to a high-powered jet, but with a few bumps along the way. What's clear is, as humans, we get really stuck in our ways. And I think I've been driving in the same style and certain way with the same team for such a long time, he said. It requires such a different driving style and settings. I've been using engine braking, which I've never ever used in my previous years. Much different brakes if you're on Brembos, and I've been on Carbon Industries for the last 15 years or so. I've got to do a better job through the weekend. I know I can, and I will. Lewis Hamilton got a timely boost from Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur after a tough qualifying session at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Fresh off a sprint win in China, Hamilton couldn't carry that momentum into qualifying, where he wound up in a frustrating 9th place, well behind teammate Charles Leclerc. But Vasseur isn't sounding any alarms just yet. Instead, he praised Hamilton's underlying pace across the weekend and reminded everyone that switching teams after over a decade with Mercedes isn't exactly plug and play. While he admitted there's still work to do on both sides, Vasseur made it clear, this is a long game, and Ferrari's all in. We will work on the car and develop the car to Lewis, but he has also to do a step. You could feel Hamilton's frustration after qualifying, but instead of spiraling, he dug in. And Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur took notice. He applauded Lewis's grit, pointing out how even the tiniest misstep in F1 can cost you big on the starting grid. Despite starting further back, Hamilton clawed his way to a solid P5 on race day, showing flashes of the fighter we all know. Vasseur wasn't shy about the pressure cooker that is Ferrari, saying that scrutiny comes with the territory. Still, he's confident that with a steady mindset and a bit of patience, they're heading in the right direction. China was a wild ride, no doubt. But if anyone can handle the highs and lows of a new chapter, it's Hamilton. With Vasseur in his corner and momentum starting to build, expect some fireworks as Lewis settles in and sets his sights on silverware with the prancing horse. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur believes that the differences are down to the finest of margins. He's urging Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari to stay calm and not get too caught up in the early hiccups. He told media, "After the sprint race in China, we were speaking about the prize-giving ceremony. And after the race in China, it was a total disaster. In terms of management, we have to take it easy, to calm down, as the issue is that probably for us, the ups are a bit higher and the downs are a bit lower. It means that if we want to keep a consistent approach, which we did very well in the last 2 years, we have to stay calm to improve hundredths of seconds by hundredths of seconds." I understand the frustration of Saturday evening because if you have a look from FP1 to Q2, he was a 10th, plus or minus with Charles. Then you arrive into Q3 and the first lap is deleted, and on the second one he made a mistake, and then you pay the price because the grid is not made up of the average, but on the last lap. For sure there is a bit of frustration for him, but also for us. He had a very strong recovery, had a solid race, and came back in P5. The race time compared to the top 2 or 3 is almost similar, and that means for me it was okay, and he was very strong and consistent. But with the field we have now, if you miss 2 or 3 tenths in qualifying because you made a mistake, you will lose 6 or 7 positions. Ferrari has flashed moments of brilliance in the early races, but the SF25 remains a bit of a diva. Its performance window is so tight, it's been tough to unlock its full potential consistently. Still, team boss Fred Vasseur isn't blaming the bold design shift from last year's title-challenging SF24. When pressed on whether Ferrari's gap to McLaren comes down to a simple case of lacking downforce, Vasseur pushed back. Speaking to the media, he suggested the story is a bit more complex than raw aero numbers. I think that first the picture is that from session to session, it's a bit different. You can have some stints when we are fighting with the McLaren, that sprint race in China, or the second stint in Bahrain today. But overall, if you have a look on the average of the season, I think we are missing 2, 3, 4 tenths. I don't know, but we are missing something. It means that we have to continue to work, and downforce is a component of this. But when you have a look on the situation, they are also much better when the conditions are a bit more extreme, when it's way more tyre management than anything else. So, does Ferrari's recent improvement mean Lewis Hamilton has a real shot at that 8th title this season? Or was the Bahrain Grand Prix just a case of everything falling into place for one day? Let's get into it in the comment section down below. And as always, if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for tuning in,